Here's the Yom Yom for today. There are two characteristic expressions in Hasidut. There's two expressions which Hasidut uses to show its attitude toward what a Jew is. A Jew recognizes, every Jew knows that there is God, and he senses that God is above nature. A Jew does not have to have any proof for this. Number two, a Jew is not able or doesn't even desire to be separated from God. No Jew wants, or no Jew is able to be separate from Hashem. Okay, now these two statements are statements of Hasidut, but they are totally against evidence, clear evidence to the opposite. Every Jew recognizes God and senses the supernatural. Where do you see that? Right? Number one. Number two, every Jew wants to be connected to God. A Jew neither is not able, does not want to, and he is not even able down deep to be separate from God. How can that be? You see all these Jews that are non-religious, that are anti-religious, that are communists, that are whatever. We don't see this true. So the Rebbe says it's true, that it is true, that the facts seem to disagree. But Hasidut says that these are not real facts. These are apparent facts. These are, you say, even provable facts. If you go around and take a census of all the Jews in the world and say, do you believe in God? It could be that a big percentage of them, if not the majority, will say no, they don't believe in God. Could be. They don't believe in the Torah. They don't believe the commandments. They don't believe. Could be. Says, but that doesn't mean anything. Why doesn't it mean anything? Because that's not true. True. The fact of the matter is the Jews are in what we call exile. And exile means that you don't sense the truth. You don't feel the truth. What is the truth? The truth is that every Jew knows that God exists, and he senses that God is above nature and that he is everywhere. You don't have to have any proof. Every Jew knows it. And maybe you can even say more. There is no proof. No matter how much proof you bring, it's not going to convince them. It's just knowledge. It's an internal thing. It's almost like the same thing as proving to a person that that person himself exists. Can I prove to you that you exist? You don't need a proof for it. No matter how many proofs you bring, you don't need proof for it. Maybe you have to prove to somebody else that I exist. Oh, that's all. But a person feels himself. Same thing. Every Jew feels God. You don't need any proof for that. Number two, every Jew is not able to be separate from God. Right? This is not true, but we see that in fact it is true. There were so many Jews that gave their lives rather to leave Judaism. There were non-religious Jews that screamed out Shema Yisrael. Now we see in the world, when all this anti-Semitism breaks out in the world, that all of a sudden Jews are saying, but I'm a Jew. They're not denying their Judaism. Right? They're not denying their Judaism. It would be very easy for them to just say, well, I'm not Jewish, leave me alone. But we see that more and more Jews refuse to deny their Judaism. Why? Because deep down, eventually every Jew will say, will admit, listen, I don't care what you do, I'm a Jew. The truth is that these two expressions are the same. A Jew recognizes God, and he senses that God is above nature, God is creating nature. And that's why, because he senses this, it's the truth. Therefore, neither does he desire, nor is he, even if he externally does seem to desire to be separate from God, the fact of the matter is internally, down deep, he can't be separated from God. And how do we see this? The Jew says also, I'm a good Jew. I don't have to do the commandments to be a good Jew. I don't have to go to synagogue. I don't have to keep Shabbos to be a good Jew. I don't have to I can do all the sins in the world. Right? I don't have to stop eating not kosher food. I'm a good Jew without your kosher food, without this, but he still feels it's important to be a good Jew. I think I told you this 1,000 times, but there was a Jew, his name was Trotsky, Leon Trotsky. He was a big, super leader of the communists. He was a very cruel person. He was a very efficient person, a very genius person, and very anti-religious, super anti-religious. And I saw an interview with him. They interviewed him, and they said, "Are you Jewish? Do you consider to be Jewish?" So he said, "I guess I would have to say that I am a totally atheistic Jew." But he didn't say, "No, I'm not Jewish. I'm not a Jew." He didn't say that. I mean, listen, a person that's not from Mexico, so we can say, I'm not a Mexican, right? a person that doesn't do anything in Islam, you can say, I'm not a Muslim. I don't do anything like that, right? But here's a Jew that he doesn't come from Jew land and he doesn't do anything Jewish, but nevertheless, he can't deny the fact that he's a Jew. Right? How is this? What's the logic behind it? There is no logic. A Jew is not able and does not want to be separated from God.